As an ACC fanboy, I want to try something new to expand my horizon in sim racing. I already had a version of AMS2 when I tried it out, and after 1 hour in VR, I bought the full DLC package. And as an ACC fanboy, this felt like cheating. 9 out of 10 times, these affairs aren't turning out to be really good. And here's why. So I get up to grips with AMS2. I took a particular interest in the LMDh and the LMP2 cars. Those ones look really interesting to me. In VR, I really like the way it sounds, the way it looks. It's all really good. Then I go into the setup changes that I need to make to increase some stability under braking, making sure it's not locking up anywhere, me learning the car. And after like 6-7 hours, I start driving my first low fuel motorsport race. And this is what happened. First, I lose the controls of the car. Then I'm just starting rolling backwards, and I have no control. And then at some point, the game gives me the controls back, and I get a bunch of time penalties. Then that race that I did was basically full of incidents. That's maybe not the fault of the game, but it really felt like the cars were like moving around really fast, and it looked like collisions were basically unavoidable through how the cars, like, they looked like they lag into each other and all that stuff. Then when I finished that race on Road America, I thought I had, okay, I still need to learn the track and there's a lot of stuff going on, but the fastest car was 6 seconds faster than me. And I already did quite a bunch of practice laps on that track, trying to optimize the setup. So there's a lot going on there. And in this video, I will just share all the knowledge I've gained from watching a bunch of live streams, going into different YouTube videos, trying to figure out everything. And the more I start to figure out, the more disgusted I get. Let me explain why. When I listen to all these live streams and see different stuff, the first thing I noticed in a stream from Dan Suzuki, he's driving in a night race, the qualifying, and you got this system where you are driving the qualifying by yourself. So everybody else is not on track, it's just you pushing a hot lap. Now, I am a sim racer. I like the realism. Whenever I get reminded of the fact that I'm in a sim, it's a red flag for me. This feels super arcadey to me. Why am I not frustrated with all the cars lining up to do the first hot lap? Where is the exit of the pit? Yeah, where is everyone? Then the second problem I have with this is that in that stream that I watched, there was actually in the nighttime a ghost in front of him. This was another driver. You can also hear them. And then some guy said in stream chat that you could draft off them as well in a qualifying lap. I mean, if you want to do a real sports event on this sim, how are you gonna do that if you got these BS in place? So big red flag when I figured that out. Then I also heard in other live streams that people lost control of their wheelbases. Then another problem I saw with cars that have damage, they go to the pit, but then the damage is not fixed. Or the damage is fixed for the driver itself, but for everyone else on track, it still looks like other cars are broken. Imagine if you're doing an endurance race, then the half of the field, all the cars are broken. This is so stupid to me. I don't like it, right? And the list goes on and on and on. Then I found out that 2 cars, the Lamborghini and the Audi, are the fastest GT3 cars, and the rest is not competing, so that's a big red flag for me as well. What I also found is that with the LMP2 cars, one of them is just the fastest, it's the Liger, and the other is safer. But then again, why you have 2 cars if they're not the same? Then everybody will pick that one car. And when I tried to improve my setup on the LMP2 car, I searched another video and they were talking about some meta tactic from Project Cars 2, and that's basically removing all the camber. So what I did with the setup I did a basic setup, and what I basically did is I took 2 clicks of rear wing of the car, and I used just the default values from the base setup to this setup, and I took the caster angle and the camber angle like this, and the camber angle on the back I increased. For the rest, I didn't change anything. I believe I put the radiator on 50 with these track conditions. Now, this was a meta tip from a GT3 car, and I just copied that, put that tactic on an LMP2 car, and shaved off 2 seconds with the same inputs. Like, I was just chilling, driving. I could push the car twice as hard. So the biggest deal breaker for me is that some old meta tactic from a GT3 car actually working on an LMP2 car, which is basically the same car then, but they just, like, I don't know, this is just a deal breaker for me. Old meta stuff from a previous game, and it's not fixed yet. I mean, that I'm so disappointed, man. I regret buying the DLC because don't get me wrong, I love the sound, I like the way it looks, but this is just a deal breaker for me. So this was the first and the last Automobilista video. My knowledge is very limited on Automobilista 2. This sim, I have it now. If I have someone in my rig who wants to enjoy VR and do a casual lap, then man, this is great. It's really good. But from a competitive standpoint, being in competition, getting mile deep into setup theory and try to figure out how to be the fastest racer on track and do that a little bit bug and problem free, then this is absolutely not the game to go into. Only for just some casual driving, racing, I think it's pretty freaking sweet, especially in VR, and OpenXR you need to use. So yeah, probably one of the last Automobilista videos from my channel. Now, what do you think? Do you think that if you could just change a few camber values, you can shave off 2 seconds? Or do you think I just got lucky with a random setup change? Let me know in the comments.